Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Prison Architect Gang Warfare. Today's episode will cover day 4, 5, and 6. So every episode will cover 3 days. And today we have a pretty interesting competition. We started off today with an interesting civil war on the green side, leaving a lot of unconscious members, but no deaths. So I believe this is actually the end of the day 3. And so as you can see in the top there, it says day 7. That's because we have a little bit of a buffer when we took to build this prison. But so this is day 3. Day 8 will be day 4. And so basically it'll be like a 4-day type offset. So keep that in mind when you're looking at the days on the top and when I mention the days on the video. Not too much longer later, Red actually was inspired by Green Gang and decided to have their own little riot. So about all of them at the time just decided to have a good time, and that led to more deaths. And this was probably a mistake on their part tactically, because the more deaths they have, that means the less, I guess, gang members they'll have to capture the territories later today. Unfortunately for this episode, that will be a theme, is rioting. So let's see how this turns out. Naturally, out of respect for the dead, we have to add in the gravestones for all those that died. So far, it's up to 19 prisoners, which really is not that much, but today we're going to increase that number by a lot. After 3 days of gang competition, the way that the gangs stand right now, it's Red with 25 members, 2 kills, Green with 24 members and 2 kills, and Blue with 26 members and 3 kills. It's relatively even right now when it comes to members and kills, but it looks like Green Gang and Blue Gang have the only territories in this whole competition. Yes, there's only 5. I wanted to keep things at a smaller scale and didn't want to spread them out too much. But it looks like Green Gang has 3 of the common rooms and Blue has 1 common room and 1 yard, which the yard seems to be the hardest thing to get. So honestly, they're doing really well for themselves. The sun rose on the new competition day, and immediately the gangs got to work. It seems like Green and Blue Gang both got into separate groups and went into the various territories that they already controlled, just to maybe top up on their control and that little countdown that they have before they get evicted. So that didn't take too long before they started to get a little bit more bold. Some fresh meat finally came in, and so that means each gang now has more members, and immediately fights broke out in the chapel of all places. A peaceful place turned into a riot. This is quite unfortunate. Looks like we had 2 generals from the Green, or 1 general from the Green Gang and 1 from the Blue Gang, and the Blue Gang general just got murdered by either the Red or Green Gang. It looks like it was the Red Gang that killed them as their kill count increased. This is quite unfortunate, but it might turn the tide, as now as the Blue Gang has 1 less lieutenant to help capture points. The guards came in and eventually cleaned up and finished all the riots, but the riot had already taken its toll, leaving 1 more member of a gang dead. Absolute pandemonium breaks loose when Blue Gang decides to have a little riot, leaving 3 dead. Wait, that's like 4 dead now. Oh yeah, I think that's like 5 dead? Maybe even 6? I don't even know what's going on anymore. It seems Blue Gang is rioting, losing a bunch of members, but it's not even just limited to Blue Gang. It looks like Red Gang and Green Gang are also rioting. Yep, going back down into it, looks like Red Gang is rioting. It looks like they only had a few deaths, but definitely less than Blue Gang, but it's definitely something that's something probably not good for their competition. Green Gang seems to look like they're trying to get in the mix too. They seem to have the most members out of the 2 though. Gunshots. The last thing you want to hear in a gang riot is gunshots on their own teammates. Looks like some dude, Underwood, has a SMG or some sort of machine gun and is just going ham on either the guards or his own team. But eventually I think he got knocked out by a guard without killing anyone, but he definitely left a lot of damage. However, the people who got the short end of the stick was definitely Blue Gang. It looks like they lost 4 members, if not more, because their guards are carrying them dead bodies out. We're going to have to definitely add a lot more to the graveyard after this. But it's unfortunate. Overall, very unfortunate for all the gangs, but probably good for the guard gang. Really bad for the medic gangs. Now they have a lot of work to do. I believe that the cause of all these riots were the new members that came in. They weren't really initiated yet, and they probably tried to start fights where they shouldn't have. Maybe a couple snitches in there, and that just caused chaos all over the prison. Checking in the gang members, it looks like Red Gang has 31, Green with 38, and Blue down to 27. And Red has now 1 more kill with 3 kills, but honestly, We'll see how this turns out for the actual gang war. It's still eat time, so we have some more time before the free time when the gang members can do all their gang business.
They're rioting for their own safety. It's kind of ironic.
I got tired of waiting around. I decided to fill up to the maximum capacity of the prison because I don't want to have to wait for 30 prisoners to come in every day. I want to see some real gang business. Speaking of which, it is now the business hours of the gang warfare, and that allows all the prisoners to do what they can and try to capture more territories. It seemed pretty quiet at first. It looked like only a few people were going out, but only for recreation, not for actual business. It turned into a sort of a King of the Hill standoff with the blue and green gangs staying in their own territories, just threatening anyone else to see if they can try to capture it from them. Red gang was the only one that actually needed to make a move to get themselves onto the map. Right when I thought this was going to turn out to be a boring episode, Green Gang decided to make a move. They took a pretty decent group of members and started heading towards the northeast common room, the only one captured by Blue. It seems like they wanted to dominate all the common rooms. Right off the bat, Green had an overwhelming number of soldiers compared to the Blue Gang, and that caused a fight. Immediately, White, a Green Gang member, took out a shotgun and took out 3 Blue Gang members all at the same time. This was very impressive, causing the guards to kind of respond really quickly, and they did pretty well actually. But that's another one dead. Another one dead. White was going on a killing spree in this common room. You should remember that name, White. He seems to be a big player in the Green Gang. While Green tried to take over that top right common room, it looks like Red, down there in the bottom right, is starting to actually plan to finally make a move. It seemed like Green Gang eliminated a lot of Blue members and also knocked out their own, so now Red can take an advantage of the lack of competitors and try to take over a common room. This thing is, though, it was starting to run out of time in the day to actually take over a common room. Eat time was coming up, and that kind of forces every gang to go back to their own cells and have a nice meal. And they were off. They started heading towards the same exact common room that Green Gang was trying to capture at that very moment, with White still in there with his shotgun. This would be bad news. Immediately, before they even really got into the common room, White started going off on them, not even letting them through the door with his shotgun, killing them one by one. Left and right, there were bodies going unconscious, going dead, gunshots, screaming, punches, kills, and tasers going off everywhere. This seemingly cold, hard killer, White, was absolutely ruthless. Finally unconscious, but was absolutely ruthless to the Red Gang. A pile of unconscious and dead bodies was left in that common room. This turned out to be a plus to the Blue Gang because that knocked out all the green and red soldiers, meaning they could keep that territory. Kevin Dank White, the name of the prisoner who was in for carjacking and was actually just a hacker and did not respect authority. Imagine that. Kevin White, corrupted so bad, he would have over a 13 kill streak. Looking at the stats, we have 15 kills for Green Gang. Blue Gang only had 3, and so did Red Gang. And now both Blue and Red were down to 22 and 23 members. Now this was crazy. Green Gang had 3 territories with 38 members, and of course they all have $0 because the working is pretty rare when it comes to gang warfare. But having 15 kills and 3 territories, that's pretty darn good for a gang. Tomorrow, there are going to be over 45 prisoners coming in to repopulate every single gang, hopefully maxing them out to each 60 members.
Tomorrow, gonna be a big day. We're gonna fill up capacity for all these prisoners, and it's gonna be a mess.
Here, besides a little bit of a scuffle here in the Green Gang, I realized that I made a bit of a mistake. I wanted to make the doctors have a little bit easier access towards the prisoners and vice versa, so I edited the prison a little bit to give them an easier and less restricted path to the doctors. This was a fatal mistake. As dozens of prisoners walked towards the doctor's offices, I realized that I made a huge mistake. They were walking straight into an unsecure part of the prison. There was no walls, no perimeter walls, no fences, no gates, no anywhere, and as you can see, there was only some staff doors between them and freedom. As you can see in the bottom right, Kern got knocked out, fortunately, but stopping over 50 prisoners from escaping, this would be a task to deal with. I immediately tried to make a preemptive strike on protecting the whole place by putting a perimeter wall, a bunch of guard towers down, and even putting down the guard gates at the end of each of the roads. Hopefully this would get things in time. However, I realized that the guard gates had to be put in manually by the workers and not just automatically straight up. So that was pretty much flopped. I conceded my defeat and allowed some escapes to happen. Well, I didn't really allow them. I just let it happen. You know, if they wanted to get out of this hellhole, then I'll let them. Nearly got sniped, but we had 2 escapes and they got run over by a bus, but fortunately that doesn't actually count. Horrible time for new prisoners to come in as they see a bunch of naked men running out of the prison getting shot at by snipers, and they're just coming in. Oh man, what a sight. This guy over here, Millard, seemed to just be chilling. I don't think he actually wanted to escape. I think he wanted to get more kills, so he decided to come back into the prison. Away from the walls, away from the fences, watch his friend Patton just escape, and now that's another one. That's 3. I decided that there's really nothing I could do about the prisoners that were already out, so I wanted to make the prison a little bit more secure on the inside, which was where I made the mistake in the first place. I changed the regular doors to staff doors, and I also added more fences and perimeter walls around the whole territory. As I watched the prisoners escape one by one, I realized there was a riot going on with deaths. I wanted to make things more interesting and force every single gang and every single prisoner together in a group yard time, and this was the aftermath. I came in a little bit too late, and I believe the fights happened, but there was definitely no territory control attempting to happen.
Okay, after that mishap, doing a quick check. It seems like the members are streaming in evenly, but slowly, but evenly, so that's good. All the other gangs seem to be catching up in member numbers to green. However, that doesn't really change much. It seems like they're still having a little fights in here, doing what they can.
It was now free time again. It looks like Blue Gang immediately started off the bat, starting to do some more gang business. It looked like they were going for the bottom right common room, which was controlled by the Green Gang. They looked like they didn't have any competition either, so they might be able to just hold it off. I watched them and realized that they were actually making a lot more moves than just this one. They had the most members come in, so now they have 59, nearly at the full 60, and I believe they were trying to take advantage of the numbers that they had while they still had the chance. As I zoomed out, I realized there's another group of blue members, up in the bottom left corner, and then another one in the top left corner. And that means they were in all 3 contested territories with no competition whatsoever, trying to capture the entire competition field. They captured the top left, captured the bottom right, and finally they successfully captured the bottom left as well. This was a huge move. Having all of the fields contested, I didn't really think of an end game or a winner. I was thinking I would just go for a couple days and see who has the most stats. But I believe maybe adding a win condition of if they can control all the territories for a whole episode for 3 days, essentially. So if they can control all the territories for 3 consecutive days, then they would win this section of gang warfare. And then we'll start again, maybe even change up the field, add more common rooms or less, and see what you guys think. But yeah, this was a huge play that I did not expect to happen anytime soon, or really at all. Blue Gang, of all people, they had the least members at the beginning, now they have the most, and now control all the territories. Green still has 16 kills with only 54 members, and Red with 3 kills and 52 members, so Red's not doing too hot. More fights and death broke out near the doctors. This is kind of ironic. I realized that this morgue and infirmary situation was not working for me, so I would probably end up having to put individual doctors and individual infirmaries, into each of the gang's cell blocks. I added more guards and guard patrols, making the prison a little bit more secure. I do know that this will make gang fights a little bit unfair, so I've decided after this I will not hire any more guards and allow if every guard dies, then that means all the prisoners have free reign. But that means all the prisoners would have to kill all the guards for that to happen.
and then Guard Gang would lose. Following with the theme of the episode, Civil War and riots. Every single security, every single gang decided to have their own little fight and kill each other. This brought down the members of the gang a little bit, but pretty much left a pile of unconscious bodies in the door of the canteen. This sparked the realization that I'll probably need to expand the space of the canteen because it seems like they don't like each other as much as I thought they would. Seems like Red's having theirs now. Day 6, the last day of this episode. Blue Gang still had all the territories, and I've added in the infirmaries for every security, added in some more patrol routes, added a little bit more just security in general to hopefully keep things a little bit more quiet. I don't think it's going to help much in preventing deaths. Because the prisoners were complaining about exercise, I added a mandatory yard time that turned out it's really just killing spree time. Immediately a riot went underway. Red, blue, and green all came together in the central territory, destroying guards, destroying each other, just hating life in general. I was actually looking away from the screen at this moment, and so I didn't even notice that this happened until later. Luckily, the guards got it under control, and actually no deaths occurred, and actually more prisoners even came in the morning too. I believe it's just trying to keep a cap of 180 prisoners, so that's just the way it's going to happen. It looks like also Blue Gang started getting money for some reason. I'm not entirely sure how, but I'll look into it. It might be having something to do with them controlling this whole territory area and having other gangs or other people pay them to have to use it. I'm not really sure how that works. I'll need to look into just the whole way gang warfare works, but it was really interesting. I came into the screen at this moment and saw all these unconscious bodies, and I was like, wow. I was adding in the gravestone and I realized, wait a minute. We have a milestone. 69 deaths. Nice. As time went on, I realized that Blue Gang really dominated the field. There was no one trying to go for control. No one really tried to do anything with them. They just started getting money for some reason, and there were no fights. It was just kind of peaceful. I think this might be the way it ends. I'm not entirely sure though. We still have 2 more days of consecutive control, and we'll see what happens. I happened to look over at Green's area and noticed they were having a little lunch meeting. Seems like they were finally going to plan something, hopefully trying to usurp the power of Blue. Unfortunately, time was running out on their business hours, and that meant that capturing this territory within the day would have been very close to impossible, if not really, really hard. That helped me realize that I should probably change up the regime to give them either more free time or less mandatory eat time. And so what I wanted to do was give a little bit extended time to the green and red gang to hopefully give them a chance to take some power away from Blue. In the end, none of the gangs were bold enough to try to take away the territory. We reached the midnight snacking hour and nothing happened. Of course, Blue Gang had a little scuffle, and that's natural. It kind of fits with the theme. Gunshots even. But nothing overall happened. I think 1 death on the Blue Gang, but they have plenty of members to go around. So that's about it. I was not expecting the tides to turn as much as they did. Blue Gang is now dominating the field with the most territory and the most money. Green is still dominating with the kills by a lot just because of dank white boy over there. It's a very interesting turn of events. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know who you guys want to win, what you guys want to see. I'll definitely be changing things, and there'll definitely be more gang warfare to come. But as always, I hope you guys have a great morning, afternoon, night, or evening, and I will see you next time.